Good and interesting thought experiment for you. Why do we think about bad or scary things or negative things? Why can't we just think about happy things all the time? Why is it that our brain looks for bad things, looks for stressful things, rather than looking for happy things? Well, naturally, we're conditioned for that. We have a fear response that is very strong in us. It keeps us alive, and our body's learned over time that if we're alive, then we're better than being content for a short period and dead. So what's happened is our nervous system, our brains and our bodies has been conditioned over time, over the generations, but also we've been conditioned by our society and the people around us. And so this is why we take risks, this is why we do stupid things, because we're wanting to test the boundaries, we're wanting to experience the exhilaration of that. And it's because being happy and neutral and calm and content is boring, and you don't know what that is unless you have contrast. I don't know how happy I am in my relationship until I lose that person. I don't know how good my job is until I lose that job. And I don't know how nice my house is until I don't have one anymore. So what we need to realize is that chances are we're in a good place with what's going on as a general baseline, and we potentially are making it worse for ourselves by looking for the negative experiences. Now, if we are in a generally shit position, then what you need to do is make sure that you're making the change that you need to start bringing yourself up. And when you start experiencing that positive change, you need to be realizing the calmness and contentment and happiness in that change, and not looking for more, because looking for more is only going to be a recipe for sadness and stress. And remember that your brain is conditioned for looking for negative experiences, bad things, stress. So when your mind wants to start going towards that, you need to pull yourself back and say, is this really going to help me? Is there any point in me thinking about how my plane might crash when I'm in it? Because if it crashes, I die anyway. And if it doesn't crash, well, I just suffered the entire time I was flying on the plane. It was pointless because I arrived safely anyway. So either way, I'm going to suffer. So there's no point in thinking about bad things. I might as well enjoy the experience that I'm having right now. Because hindsight is a great thing. And when you look back, you're like, oh, that was fine. But when we're in the situation, we think, holy shit, what's going to happen? Something terrible is going to happen, or it's going to be bad or negative or whatever. Trust that your brain is making it up. Trust that you don't have all the information to make that educated decision, and trust that it just comes from your conditioning. But if you change your conditioning by being consistent, you will make an outcome. It's like dripping water on a rock. When you watch it for the first few days, you might think there's no way that that water is going to do anything to that rock. But you leave it for 1,000 years and you'll have a giant canyon. And it's the same thing with making change in your life, and it's the same thing with positive and negative stresses. If you're consistent with the positive, it'll make a change. If you're consistent with the negative and you allow your brain to take over, then it will make negative and it will create your reality for you. Okay? So remember that our brains and our bodies are conditioned for stress, conditioned for anxiousness and negative emotion. We will seek it out if we are feeling bored and neutral too often, and that comes from us not being content with our happiness and not being grateful for what's going on in our lives that's positive. If you'd like to discuss this with me further, send me a message. I'd love to hear your thoughts, or post a comment below this video and I'll reply to it. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next video.